Hello again, and welcome back to Major League Rugby's best show, MLR Weekly, as presented by Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy in New York City, and we've got another great show. We've got departing GM of the New England Free Jacks, Tom Kindley, spilling his guts. We've got John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Steve Lewis, the Seven Czar, and Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
Let's get the fun started with our recurring segment, Rugby Morning's Coffee Break with John Fitzpatrick, calling in again from the greater Los Angeles area. I'm struggling with my speech, John. How are you, and what do you want to talk about?
Matt, you're also struggling with your fashion. Where's the celebratory green? What's going on?
John, I don't wear green the entire St. Patrick's Day week, but I don't blame you for doing it and your exuberance. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Matt, we got to start in New England, of course. A new general manager, Todd Thornley, replacing Tom Kindley, TK, of course, who won 3 straight titles with the Free Jacks.
And I might add, in the St. Patrick's Day theme, that Tom Kindley is waiting in the green room to come in.
Well, he's not playing for a green team. The last I checked, the Hurricanes in Super Rugby do not wear green, but that's okay. Thornley, of course, coached at Central Washington. He was part of the coaching staff with the Legion in the past. But Matt, I think the best part of all of this is that Todd is very familiar with the U.S. Player Pathway Program. He served in a number of different roles from U19 through U23. Matt, though, it's the pressure on Todd to win a 4th straight title for the Free Jacks.
Well, yeah, heck yeah. He's got big shoes to fill in the form of Tom Kindley, who is in our green room right now, because Tom won 3 consecutive championships, and they won a 4th. And I know Eric Anderson, the owner, is going to be tearing apart the clubhouse and breaking water coolers if they're even behind in a match this season.
Well, Matt, do you think the other teams will be green with envy if New England wins a 4th one?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Continue.
Yeah, let's move on. Obviously, the countdown for MLR 2026 regular season is underway. But first, man, we've got some MLR preseason action this weekend. Of course, you know that the Seawloves, who do have green, are in South Africa training with the Stormers. The Seawolves are going to take on a little friendly against the Stormers.
Depending on the calls, you might think that the Stormers will probably get the rub of the green.
Oh, very good. Keep this going. Streaming details, of course, on that match are TBD, but perhaps some of our South African friends can help us out there. What do you think, Matt?
I hope so. And the South Africans, the Springboks, they play in green.
They do indeed.
Right?
They do. Matt, the field was a little green at the NYC Sevens, despite the cold and windy conditions. Matt, you were in the room with some bigwigs that maybe have some greenbacks in their pocket. What was the overall sentiment this weekend? Good, bad, or indifferent there? And what does it mean? Anything?
Well, they were disappointed in that they couldn't get on the golf course because of the weather, so they weren't on the greens. But they were very pleased with the outcome of the Sevens because it was much better than it was expected. So will it come back next year in New York? I hope so. A little bit, maybe a tweak of the schedule would help instead of freeze your nuts off in the middle of March. But I think it was probably double what they expected. What else?
Well, first, congrats to the USA Women's Sevens program for getting bronze, not green. Maybe next time the U.S. men will be there in a little spectacle and a little bit better weather, perhaps, for the NYC Sevens if it returns.
Yeah, and it was electric in the building for Team USA's women playing, and they played great. You know, some stiff competition. Taking 3rd in that tournament is a big deal, and they did it on American soil, and it was great for our sport and our nation that moment because we all came together, and everybody was American for them, and that was great. Anything else, John?
Yeah, Matt, I just heard the rave reviews for the PA announcer there at NYC Sevens this weekend.
I'd grade him out as maybe a B+. It was 24 consecutive matches, which is not easy. Half times were limited to about 45 seconds, so that made pee breaks even difficult. But it was a lot of fun in the building, and I apologize for the errors that I made. Anything else, John?
Yeah, that's it.
And thank you to John Fitzpatrick. John, go out and enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day week, because I know it's probably huge in Los Angeles with 87 degrees. But anyway, that's it for John. And we'll be right back with Stephen Lewis, 7 Czar, who was at the tournament after this.
Mercy me, that could have put him in Ward 4.
I hope not, Bill. That's a maternity ward.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we're back, and once again, we're welcoming in 7 Czar, Stephen Lewis of Elevate-Rugby.com. He coaches you to be an excellent player or a coach on an elite level. Stephen, you were at the HSBC 7 Series leg of the World Rugby Series Tour. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a terrific weekend. You know, it was one we all, as local rugby fans, went into with some trepidation. Be it the weather or the potential crowd or what was going to happen, New York being an unproven venue for this type of tournament. But it was a slowish Saturday, you know, and then a really successful Sunday, in my opinion. The attendance was about 20,000 over the 2 days. Saturday could have used some more people, but there are factors there that we can talk about. But Sunday I felt was a couple of great finals. It was compelling rugby. It was a good atmosphere within inside the stadium. So I think all in all, over the piece, I think it ended up better than expected. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this tournament, right? Format, sorry. You know, only 8 teams on each side, so there's a bit of sort of redundancy, and you're seeing the same teams week in, week out. This was the 6th and final leg of this format before they moved to the expanded version. They got up to 12 teams for Hong Kong for the final 3 tournaments. So coming into the tournament on the men's side, Fiji and South Africa were neck and neck, literally level on points. They both made the final, and South Africa's, you could say, superior, perhaps teamwork, perhaps defensive nous edged them over, you know, Fiji just being Fiji and playing wonderful rugby. So that was to be expected. On the women's side, similar type of thing. The series has been dominated by Australia and New Zealand, and they both made the final again. And this time, New Zealand, who won the series, also won the New York title, coming from behind in a really exciting final to win by a point. So 2 great finals. Standings were as they were before coming in the tournament, and so that was to be expected. We should discuss the USA women who were there and who performed creditably, finishing 3rd on the day. I think that's their 3rd consecutive bronze medal podium finish. So as a young team, they're coming along nicely. They're 3rd in the series. They were 3rd again at the weekend. Good to see some sort of local talent out there. Susie Adegoke being the sort of New York born and bred play rugby product who's really coming into her own. It's fantastic to see. And then also some other products in the Northeast, Christy Kershey, Sarah Levy, Sammy Sullivan. So it was great to see those sort of local girls in the Northeast repping the red, white and blue, and USA women performing well.
And it was a great vibe in the stadium when they were playing too. So that was cool. A lot of American stuff going on there. Yeah. Anything else, Steve?
Yeah, well, US men, they're back on the field this weekend in Montevideo. So they're not in the first division as it currently stands. They're in the second division. And they have the second of their 3 tournaments in Montevideo, Uruguay this weekend. Then they go to Sao Paulo. So for the men, their remit is to finish in the top 4 out of the 6 teams competing in this 3-leg series. Should they do that, they were second in Kenya, they should be fine. Then they will make Hong Kong, and they will make the expanded 12-team tournament where they'll be coming up against South Africa and Fiji. So back where they need to be.
And Steve, I saw you were palling around with some of the champions.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I was invited out to the Blitzbock training camp as well. Attended a practice with them, and then I took them actually around Lower Manhattan, the management and coaching staff, on Thursday morning. They may have touched a certain part of the Wall Street Bulls anatomy for good luck, but it certainly came through, and they won the tournament. So there may or may not be a connection there. But I'm a Blitzbokke fan now. I don't know if you can see it.
Steve, anything else before we let you go?
I thought it was interesting. A lot of World Rugby people at the event. Alan Gilpin, World Rugby CEO, was there. Ross Young, former USA Rugby CEO, who's working on the World Cup. So it was interesting getting some feedback on that, which seems to be going great guns, full steam ahead there. I think based on the Sunday, World Rugby were pretty happy with New York as a venue. They understand where it sits in the sporting landscape. Obviously, these are standalone commercial ventures, so they need to pay. I think something perhaps people don't realize is HSBC, who sponsor the World Series, their biggest presence in the US is New York. So they were very much in favor of having this tournament in New York and very much in favor of it coming back. Those decisions are not made yet. I understand there will be a US leg. That was the first of 3. So another 2 years, there will definitely be a US leg, but it's not yet confirmed if it's coming back to New York. But I hope that proves to be the case.
You and me both, brother. Mr. Stephen Lewis of elevate-rugby.com. Check it out. Thanks for coming on, Steve. We'll be right back with MLR Director of Rugby, Brandon Sparks, after this.
This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained?
It's 2026! Different year, new opportunity, and where does that start with? Your health. Health Enhanced Food is here to be able to make sure you get on the right path. We got 17 baking mixes just to be able to help you set you on your proper pathway. Whether you're taking it from the spectrum of ketosis, needing keto diet, gluten-free, or you need something more serious because you're diabetic, have renal failure, it's time to bake yourself into the best form that you ever have been. Head to healthenhancedfoods.com. Use code RugbyOdds to be able to get 25% off your first order. And of course, Matt, no, just stop talking. Guys, stop him.
And we are back with Mr. Tom Kindley, who was up until recently the general manager of the New England Free Jacks. Tom, are you still working there, or what's the story?
Yeah, g'day, Matt. I am still working and concurrently with my counterpart, Todd Thornley, and transitioning the beast to him. And yeah, nearly out the door. So thanks for having me on before I go.
All right. So for the people that aren't in the know, you are moving on, and it's appropriate during St. Patrick's Week, to greener pastures, one could say. Tell us about the new gig.
Yeah, sad to not be there at our own St. Paddy's Day festival at the Free Jacks.
You think they're having a beer or two?
Oh yeah, well yeah, they were at the Southie Parade on Sunday, and we had our own open training and festival with Monumental Sevens on Saturday. So
wow.
They had a great weekend. Rugby, lots of rugby, lots of Guinness. Who just came on actually as a new partner with the team, which is pretty epic. Q the back row. And yeah, so I definitely did miss that.
The new gig, tell us about it.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm going to be the general manager of the Hurricanes. So similar Hurricanes within Super Rugby Pacific, for those that don't know, one of the 5 New Zealand-based franchises in the international club competition that it is, competing against teams from Australia, NZ, and the Pacific Islands. Similar role, just scaled up probably. So more people, everything's going to be at a bigger scale, I suppose. There's a men's team, women's team, and talent ID pathway. And as it was explained to me, I'm across those 3/3 of the performance function of the entity.
You know, we talk about players having opportunities overseas. Well, here's an example where it's an executive getting an opportunity overseas, and that's pretty cool. So tell me about your replacement and the process of replacing you.
So Todd Thornley is a guy that I've interacted with over the last decade in the American rugby landscape, and he really knows how the Free Jacks operate, what our DNA is, what's important to the franchise, and what makes us successful as an organisation. So he actually came through the same pathway to the United States as myself via Dartmouth 4 years before me. So he must have been 2013 when he first came across. And he's really, he is an American now. He's got a couple of kids that live in Washington State. He has been director of rugby at Central Washington University for 9 years. Yeah, he is a friend. He's someone that I respect professionally really highly, and I think he'll do really well.
All right, so Tom, I got to switch gears for you, and we're running out of time. But now that the monkey is off your back in terms of the MLR, now you can actually open up and tell me about all of the overspending and all of the salary cap hits of all the teams in the league since you were involved with the Free Jacks. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's, in all seriousness, everyone's given it a really good crack to make this work, and it's tough. They're expensive markets. These organizations cost a lot of money to run, and I respect anyone that's, financing these machines to.
Yeah, and you know what? We never really hear about leagues overpaying for players or giving players more, right? And that was something that we were guilty of here, which to me is like, all right. The same thing with Saracens, all right, yeah, they're violating the salary cap, but they're also setting guys up for life and jobs and corporations. I know we can't get into all that right now, but anyway, what's going to be your favorite memory while with the Free Jacks?
Yeah, there were two that came to mind when I was talking to someone the other day. One was dropping off Scott Matthew and his family after their 3 years in Quincy, and everyone was crying except for Scott. Actually, it might have just been me and his wife crying. But just having such a tight relationship with both head coaches, I'll definitely miss both of those guys who are such great human beings. And then the 2023 championship, just because it was such a cliffhanger, and we were the underdogs going into that game, and it was just such a euphoric hit at the final whistle. So those scenes after were pretty epic. Yeah, mate. So those would probably be the two that come to mind, and also milling around on the field after a home game at Fort Quincy in the sunshine with live music going, like that. That's pretty special, as you know, when you get a good day there.
Yeah. What are you going to miss most about the United States?
Man, it's a lot, and I'll be back frequently. But yeah, I mean, I'll miss the city of Boston and the live sports scene and the live music scene. Is pretty special. And then, yeah, I guess the variety of, you can be in coastal California and the weather's like this, and then you can be in New Hampshire, New England, and you're skiing. Yeah, so the variety of what you can do is pretty surreal. Yeah.
And what's the thing that you look forward to the most going home?
Definitely the opportunity is a wicked one. I can't wait to earn my stripes and just put my head down and go to work for a great organization with so much history, and to really understand what they're about and how I can contribute. But beyond that, I can't wait to get out on the lake with my family, and do some water skiing and spend time with my brothers. And then, yeah, it's just it's a simple life back home, and it'll be nice after 10 years nearly in Boston. So it'll be a bit of a change of scene.
Well, I'm jealous, and it's also a bittersweet moment for me because I count you as a friend, and every day that I've known you, I'm a better man for it, and I appreciate what you've done here. I appreciate you, sir, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward.
Thanks, man. I love the show. I love what you do. I'm so grateful for how you do it so selflessly. And I know we'll stay in touch. And yeah, it'll be awesome to see where this goes moving forward. I'll be the number one fan of the league and American rugby as the World Cup approaches. So good luck, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, buddy. Thank you to Mr. Tom Kindley, formerly of the New England Free Jacks, now of the Hurricanes in Super Rugby, and that's a big deal. We'll be right back with Mr. Pat Clifton on the College Rugby Corner. Don't go away.
Digs like a demented mole there.
Scrummy, a new rugby app where you can play fantasy, track fixtures, predict results, and follow player stats. Play Six Nations Fantasy today for your chance to win tickets to the Champions Cup final. It's about to get scrummy.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now.
Going in like a wildcat.
And we're back with Mr. Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. And Pat, I don't know if you're falling down or the building behind you is collapsing. Should we call 911?
No, we're all good. Everyone's safe. This is just, it's supposed to look like that.
It looks like an episode from the old Batman series where it's like, kapow! What would your character be?
Batman, obviously.
I don't know. You could be a bad guy. You'd be a great villain. Anyway, that's
what
all the villains act like. And then they laugh like that.
It's natural. It's my natural laugh.
Okay, sure it is. All right, let's get back to rugby. Pat, what happened?
Oh my goodness, what happened? We had a bazillion teams qualify for the Collegiate Rugby Championship. The big daddy, the big dance, the granddaddy of them all. It is it's starting to fill up a little bit. Men's Premier Cup, Kutztown went and won Monumental Sevens, hosted by the New England Free Jacks. For the third year in a row, the Golden Bears have won that. They beat St. Bonaventure. They beat Brown. Really tough competition. That's a big weekend for them. So they're back.
That's huge.
Huge. Women's Division I club, Arizona State was absolutely dominant. Won Fool's Gold 7 out in Boise, Idaho. Only gave up 2 tries and 4 wins. The Sun Devils crushed everybody. So they're in Women's Division II. Arkansas, they went and won Natural State Sevens, their home tournament down in Fayetteville. They lost an early one to Oklahoma, came back and avenged that, beat the Sooners in the final. Men's D2, Miami, Ohio. Get this, Matt. 6 matches. It was a 7-team tournament. Round robin, everyone played 6 pool games in this contest. A meat grinder, as I would call it.
Wow.
Cowboy Sevens in Pittsburgh, and Miami, Ohio went 6-0 to win that one in Men's D2 and punch their ticket. Men's D3 slippery.
Well, hold on, Pat. Can you imagine people from overseas thinking they're moving to Miami, and they end up in Miami, Ohio?
Yes, I can. Every kid that comes over and does foreign exchange in high school thinks they're going to California, and they're end up in like Jasper, Wyoming. It's wild.
All right. Well, okay. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Speaking of wild places, Slippery Rock. All right. This is and wild things. They got in Cowboy Sevens Division III competition, gave up 0 points the entire tournament. 5-0, 5 games, 5 shutouts. All right.
Wow.
And
wow.
211 points for. So Slippery Rock. A little pissed off they lost that D3 championship game in 15s in the fall, and then they lost in the semifinals last spring. The Rock looking good here in Minnesota.
No points allowed in 5 sevens matches.
Isn't that insane?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Next.
That's it. That's everybody that qualified last weekend. Did you see, you getting any feedback on the Anton Roberts Forbes op-ed? That's my question to you, if that's allowed.
We're getting some feedback on it. Good. Some naysayers, but mostly, wow, that was a good article. And, he's a guy that's got a stake in both, really, because his kids play at UCLA, right? Or he's a parent, his kids, singular probably. And, he's on the board with you guys, with the NCR. So that's it. I thought it was a good perspective, and I'm waiting for part 2. And if you missed it, go to rugbywrapup.com, folks.
So Anton is Team One Umbrella. He wants all of college rugby under one umbrella to maximize the financial opportunities. Are you Team One Umbrella, Matt?
Of course.
I'm Team One Umbrella. We should get a button made and pass them around.
Team One Umbrella. One Umbrella.
We could wear them on the College Rugby Corner. I think it'd be great.
And then we'll get Rihanna to give us the song, Umbrella.
Steve Lewis has that connection, I think.
Yeah, if anybody does, it's him. Pat, that was last week, and in the past, what's ahead of us?
We've got more teams qualifying this week. Brown Sevens, the three-time run, on the trot champion, Women's Premier Cup. Brown Bears are hosting their tournament this week. It's a great one. We have the defending Premier Cup champs, them, defending D1 club champs, Northeastern, and defending D2 champs, Coast Guard, plus last year's third place in Premier Cup, AIC. So this is a stacked tournament. We're going to find out a lot about everybody in that one. Men's Premier Cup, my tournament, City Sevens in Kansas City. We've got that one coming up. I'll be the PA all weekend. I'm going to pretend I'm Matt McCarthy. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Drury, UHSP, Southern Nazarene, Iowa Central, Benedictine, Wisconsin in the Premier Cup. And in men's D1 club, we have Missouri, Minnesota, Kansas State, Iowa, Nebraska.
Wow.
I like Iowa and Renheimer. Keep an eye out for that one. Remember that name, Renheimer. He's a speedster for the Hawkeyes. I think he's got Sevens Eagle potential. So that's
he's a backup point guard for the Buffalo Braves.
Hey, Buffalo! I've got a Buffalo Braves pennant in the other room. Believe it or not, go Clips. And then
NBA reference, not lost on Pat Clifton.
Ruck the Rock Sevens. That's a huge tournament, Men's Premier Cup division down there in South Carolina. Wheeling, Queens, Southern Virginia, Walsh, Notre Dame, Rio Grande, Belmont Abbey. So absolutely massive. The only team that's beaten Wheeling in the last few years, Belmont Abbey. Them and Wheeling could crash again in the final of this one. We also have, Dartmouth finally making their debut in a qualifier at that tournament. Kutztown's there as well. And then Sandman Sevens, hosted by Virginia Tech. It's going to have Louisville, Tennessee, a whole bunch of D1 club contenders. The Ruck the Rock D2 men is going to be UNC Wilmington, which was last year's D2 national champion in sevens. Georgetown, Eastern Carolina, Ole Miss, VCU, Coastal Carolina, which has already beaten last year's defending champs this year. Middle Tennessee State, a whole bunch of great teams. And then we got Richmond Sevens for men's D3 and women's D3. So a whole bunch more tickets getting punched for Maryland this weekend.
Good stuff from Richmond.
Those Spiders. The Spiders men are already in. So the women trying to follow suit, and it's always fun when both the men and women qualify.
All right, Pat, is it too much to ask from now on that you have a separate little piece in this segment called the University at Buffalo segment? And you just talk about UB for like a length period of time. Can you do that?
I'm going to need I just need a little drip feed of information so we can know what to talk about. You know?
Just start with they're the best, coolest college team on the planet.
Is Mike Hodgins still coaching them?
He is not. Pat, just like that, unless you have anything else for us, we're out of time.
That's it.
Thank you to Mr. Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. And also thanks to John Fitzpatrick, another Irishman, that was surrounded by Irishmen, of Rugby Mornings Coffee Break. We also have Tom Kindley. Thank you to Tom Kindley, who's no longer with the New England Free Jacks. We wish him well. And Steve Lewis, the Sevens Czar. And thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out the Rugby Odds and see John Layfield yelling at me. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. And please join our American Red Cross blood donor team. Yeehaw!